What's happening, guys? How's it going? So this is going to be a bit of a different video here today. There's a few things I want to talk about and a few points that I want to make and some things that I really want to sum up and really want to clarify with this one. This is going to be maybe quite a long video, a lot to talk about. So I was kind of inspired to talk about this by a video that I watched earlier today. I watched a video from Delboy. Great channel, by the way. Subscribe to him if you haven't already. And he makes really good content, and I don't know why he doesn't have as many subscribers as he should have, because he makes some really great content. Here in the YTBC, I never miss a single video of his. He's one of the few guys who I watch every single one of his videos, and I would totally recommend checking him out. And yeah, he was talking about this latest fuckery in boxing where uh, Frank Warren and BT have decided to put Tyson Fury's next fight against Tom Schwartz on pay-per-view. That fight's gonna be I'm in fucking stitches thinking about it, man. I mean that's a disaster waiting to happen, isn't it, man? Tyson Fury against Tom Schwartz on pay-per-view, man. But yeah, he was talking about that situation, and he also pointed out how farcical the heavyweight situation is right now, how a lot of fans in the UK and a lot of fans in boxing in particular have really shown their true colours in regards to this, and how we really need to stop getting behind a certain type of behaviour in boxing. And that inspired me to talk about this. So what I really wanted to talk about, man, is you guys remember for a couple of years on my channel, certain fan bases of certain fighters always had a problem with me. Certain fan bases of certain particular fighters always seemed to think that I had an agenda. They always seemed to think that I had a personal gripe with their favourite fighters. And I want to talk about that. I want to give a couple of examples. So you guys remember Tony Bellew fanboys used to absolutely bombard my videos with dislikes and comments whenever I criticised the guy or whenever I talked about him, and they would say shit like, did Tony Bellew fuck your wife? And they would come up with all these crazy ass theories as to why I don't like the guy and why I criticise the guy. It's very simple, guys. I mean, look, I'm not married, so no, he didn't fuck my wife. I don't know the guy personally. He hasn't done a bad thing to me. I don't know anything about the guy in terms of what he's like away from boxing, so no. What I did criticize about him, and the reason why he rubbed me up the wrong way, and the reason why I couldn't get behind a fighter like him and couldn't support him, is very simple. I do not support fake fighters. Fake fighters. Now, I know a lot of you guys are getting triggered by that, and I know you guys have seen the title, you've seen the pictures of these fighters I'm talking about, you know what examples I'm going to give, and you're going to get very angry and very wound up. So let me articulate it as best as possible. I'm going to give you guys a lot of examples of what I'm talking about when I say fake fighter. Now, you take, for example, you look at Manny Pacquiao. Now, Manny Pacquiao is a good example of a great fighter. He's an example of what I'm talking about when you have somebody who's real, somebody who's genuine, somebody who's the genuine article. Now, when you look at Manny Pacquiao and how he conducts himself in and out of the ring, it's a complete contrast. When Manny Pacquiao's outside of the ring, how he conducts himself is he's very respectful, he's very humble, he's a Christian, he's very thankful for everything he has. He is always giving back to his community, always giving back to his fans. And the way that he treats his opponents, and the way that he speaks to his opponents, and the way that he engages with them before fights, and the way that he engages with the media, the press, the fans before fights, it's all entirely classy and respectful and completely genuine. And when people ask him how his fights are going to go, he tells the truth. He says, look, I don't know how they're going to go, but I'm going to fight hard and I'm going to do my best to win the fight and entertain the fans. That's along the lines of what he always says. He gets in the ring with the opponent and he just goes all out. He's right in their face. He beats the shit out of these guys You know, every second of every round, he's working hard for his victory. You know, he's coming forward, he's taking risks. You know, he's always in the firing range. You know, he's fundamentally great. He's always landing punches. He's always throwing combinations. You know, he's just the guy is a fighting man. You know, he'll be whooping your ass. You look at the Antonio Margarito fight, for example. He's fighting this bigger guy, whipping his ass. He then will get careless for a second and gets caught with a combination which most fighters would back away from. Manny Pacquiao will then bang his hands together and say, "Is that all you've got?" And then he'll go back to whipping your ass. That's the way he conducts himself in the ring, like a fucking warrior, like a hard man, like a real fighter. Now you compare that to somebody like Tony Bellew and how Tony Bellew conducts himself. You look at Tony Bellew at a press conference and it's nothing but vile, vulgar posturing. It's, look how hard I am. I'm so hard. I'm going to fuck you up. I'm going to smash you from pillar to post. I'm going to do this, that and the other. You know, if somebody criticises him in the media, he's like, I'll stick it up your ass, you fat fuck. You couldn't stand with me in the boxing ring. I'd fucking break your head. And you know, he will talk about his opponents and say, I'm going to cripple you. I'm going to smash him from pillar to post. I'm so hard. I'm a fighting man. I'm from the streets. I'm a warrior. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And it's just non-stop yap, 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 yap. I'm so hard. I'm such a warrior. I'm going to fuck you up. I'm going to be there every second of every round, and I'm going to take your soul. I'm going to cripple you. And it's just, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. It's constant yapping, yapping, yapping. Then, when all is said and done, when all the talk is out of the way, and when Tony Bellew's in the ring, complete contrast. Completely different. Right? He gets in the ring, and it's all tactics. It's 100% pure, unfiltered tactics. All that shit in the build up to the fight, all that talk about being a warrior and about being hard and about being tough and about taking their soul and smashing them from pillar to post and crippling them, all goes out the window. And all of a sudden, he's on the back foot, he's running like fuck. Every time his opponent gets close, he'll grab them and he'll look at the referee and he's shaking the whole time and he's throwing like a couple of punches every minute just looking for a counter. All tactics, all technical, all on the back foot, minimal effort, no no perseverance whatsoever. It's just all tactics. And that's what I'm talking about when I say fake fighters. Okay, Tony Bellew is a fake fighter. And that I don't support that because fake fighters are all mouth and no action. Now, I'm going to give more examples. I'll use an American, for example. One of the most famous examples of what I'm talking about when I say fake fighter. You look at Bernard Hopkins, for example. You listen to any press conference of Bernard Hopkins, any interview, any interaction between him and his opponents outside of the ring. It's, I'll never let a white boy beat me. I'm from the streets. I'm from Philly. I'm tough. You know, I've been to jail, man. I've been stabbed. You know, this, that, and the other. And it's all, I've been stabbed. I've been shot. I'm a gangster. I'm from the streets. I'm gonna kill you. Don't be surprised if he die in the ring. You remember before the Pascal fight, saying he was gonna give him brain damage and he was gonna kill him and this, that, and the others. I'm a gangster. You know, I would never let a white boy beat me. I'll fuck you up. I'm so hard and so tough, and I'm cut from a different cloth. This, that, and the other. I'm the executioner. And it's all posturing. It's all street shit. It's all, I'm a hard man. I'm tough. I'm a warrior. Then he gets in the ring, and once again, all that goes out the window. He holds, he runs, he fouls, he jumps to the floor like a little bitch every time he gets hit and cries to the referee, "Oh, he hit me in the back of the head. Oh, oh," you're crying like a little fucking pussy, rolling around the floor like a bitch. Grabs his opponents, headbutts them, fucking sticks his thumb in their eye, elbows them, bites them, hits them low on the blind side of the ref, and it's just all tactics. And the reason why is because Bernard Hopkins isn't a fighting man. He isn't a fighter. Bernard Hopkins is a dirty, filthy ass thug who was stealing a living from boxing. That's what he was. He wasn't a fighter. He wasn't a warrior. He was a dirty, coward ass, filthy little thug stealing a living from the sport. That's what he was. Okay, just like Tony Bellew. Same shit. Okay, these a lot of these street guys who yap about how hard they are and how tough they are and how these guys are warriors. They're full of shit because their actions speak louder than words. And if you judge these guys by their actions, it often exposes how full of shit they really are. You look at some more examples. I'll use some more British fighters. Tyson Fury, another plain example when I'm talking about fake fighters. I know Tyson Fury's fanboys, boycott my channel. They absolutely flood me with comments. You're a hater. Did he fuck your wife? You're a hater. No, it's as simple as that. Tyson Fury's a fake fighter. At the press conference, he'll tip over the table and, you shithouse, you dosher, I'm from the streets, I'm so hard, I'm a gypsy king, I'm a gypsy warrior, you fucking shithouse, you're a glass chin bum, you're a bum, I'm gonna knock you out, I'm gonna fuck you up, you're a bum. And it's, just yap, it's flipping out, he starts chimping out at press conferences, he runs in dressed as Batman and shit. you know, he pretends to strangle people. Yeah, I remember the video he put up back in the day where he was with this little midget Asian guy and he was strangling the guy up against a wall and he's like, this is what I'm gonna do to anybody who hates on me. All that shit. And then it's just all posturing. It's, I'm so hard, I'm such a fighting man that I don't do this for money, I do this because I'm a warrior and I'm the gypsy king. He gets in the ring and he's fucking running for dear life. He spends the whole fight on the outside throwing backhanders. When he's like 2 feet away from his opponent, he'll stick his tongue out and put his hands behind his back just to say, look how hard I am and all that. But then his opponent gets close and it's, oh shit, hold, lean, and wait for the referee to break them up. And that's what I'm talking about, man. These guys are fake. You look at Billy Joe Saunders, another one. He talks about how hard he is and how he's so tough and he's gonna fuck you up in the ring and this, that, and the other. He gets in the ring and it's all tactics. It's all technical. This is why I don't get behind people like that. When you look at somebody, I gave Pacquiao as an example. You look at somebody like Triple G, for example. Triple G never said a bad word about anybody. He's never criticized anybody, any one of his opponents in terms of being like vulgar towards them and calling them pussies and all that. He doesn't tip tables over and act hard and puff out his chest and say, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. No, he just smiles and he's like, big drama show. Yeah, it'd be a good fight for the fans and all that type of stuff. He's very respectful, shakes their hands, smiles. He's very classy in the way that he approaches fights. He doesn't come across as a hard man. He gets in the ring and he's in your face from round 1 all the way through to round 12, fucking you up. He's got these guys on the run. He's dropping them. He's making them fall all over the ring. These guys will land a combination. He'll let you get a shot in, and he'll be like, "Yeah, is that all you got? Is that all you got, really?" And then he'll go back to beating the shit out of you. That's the type of fighter I like. I hope you guys understand. When I see these guys like Tyson Fury, Billy Joe Saunders, Bernard Hopkins, Mayweather to another extent, Tony Bellew, who I mentioned, when I see guys like that and the way that they conduct themselves in and out of the ring, it's a complete contrast. And that is why I do not support fighters like that. It's not a personal thing. It's not because they fucked my wife, because I'm not married, so that doesn't even make sense. It's not because I'm jealous of them, because why would I not be? If I was jealous of them, why would I not be jealous of every fighter? That doesn't make any sense, does it? So I remember Carl Froch fanboys used to troll my, when I used to criticize him, and they say, "Oh, you're jealous of his success." But I'm not jealous of other people. I'm just him. It doesn't make any sense, man. I'm trying to think of more examples. You look at somebody like Povetkin, for example, another guy. A guy doesn't trash talk anybody, doesn't talk shit, doesn't swear, doesn't insult people. He's just very, very classy and respectful. He gets in the ring and he fucks you up. He gets in the ring and he's walking you down and hitting you with haymakers and shit, and he's just bringing the fight. Really bringing the heat. And that is the type of thing I like. I like guys who let their actions speak for them. I like guys who they do their talking in the ring. Basically, they don't have to sell a fight with trash talk. I see comments all the time from people on here, and I hear talk in the boxing media all the time of people saying, no, if you want to be successful in boxing, you have to trash talk because you have to sell the fights. You have to make it personal. It has to be a grudge match, otherwise people won't watch it. Yeah, I remember for years when I followed the Klitschko brothers, you know, Vitaly and Vladimir Klitschko would never trash talk anybody. They would never insult anybody. They used to let it all go on in the ring. And they used to sell out football stadiums in Germany. They used to get huge, they used to do huge box office over there. I mean, we're seeing it nowadays with Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua isn't a trash talker. Anthony Joshua is a guy who, at least on the outside, is trying to appear humble. And that, kind of humble attitude has worked for him. He's grown a big following in the UK. British fans have really taken to Anthony Joshua. They haven't taken to Tyson Fury, have they? And yet Tyson Fury trash talks more than anybody. So, why is Joshua doing bigger box office than Fury is when Fury's a guy who constantly oversells his fights and talks a lot of shit? You see what I'm talking about, guys? Guys who do their talking in the ring, like an Anthony Joshua, like a Triple G. These guys are the fighters who resonate with me. These are the guys who I can get behind based on my morals and my principles and my own background and what I know about fighting and the attitudes of people who fight and whatnot. These are the guys I follow. These are the guys I can respect. And obviously everybody on occasion is viable for some criticism, but when I see somebody like Lomachenko and the way he conducts himself, again, no trash talk, no nonsense, and always comes to fight, always is taking risks in the ring and is doing it right. He's winning fights legitimately and he's using his skills. He's not running away and fouling and looking for the referee and looking for corruption. No, he's doing it legitimately. And then you look at Rigondeaux, who he was fighting, going into that fight, where was the trash talk coming from? All the trash talk about who's the tougher man and who's the boogeyman and who's being ducked and this, that, and the other, it was all coming from Rigondeaux and his side. Yet when they got in the ring, I mean, you guys saw who the real fighting man was, didn't you? When they got in the ring, because Lomachenko made that bitch quit. Okay, when Klitschko fought David Haye, and this is another major example of this. Where was all the trash talk coming from for years? I remember growing up with that one, man. David Haye spent years, like well over 2 years, goading and goading Klitschko, and you guys remember in the press conferences, he said he was going to put Klitschko in an ambulance and send him to hospital, and he was going to go in there, break him down, and destroy him, this, that, and the other. Whereas Vladimir just was he remained professional the whole time. And when the two guys got in the ring, who was on the front foot? Who was the aggressor in that fight? Who was the guy coming forward, forcing the fight? And who was the guy running away, jumping to the floor, looking to the referee and acting like a bitch? It was David Haye who was jumping around and running away and acting like a bitch, where it was Vladimir who was coming forward and dominating the fight on the front foot. He was the guy who was the fighting man out of the two. Yet all the talk and all the posturing from the fake hard man David Haye was the one that all that was what resonated with fans going into the fight. Everybody was sort of fooled by that and thought that he was going to be the aggressor. But if you look at these guys and you judge them by their actions and what they do in the ring and how they conduct themselves in and out of the ring, you know how to predict these fights and you know who to support, is all I'm saying. I don't support fake boxers. I'm not going to support people who conduct themselves the way that guys like Bernard Hopkins conducts himself. No, I'm not going to support that. So whenever you listen to me criticize these fighters, just understand it ain't personal. All right, for anybody who gets offended, that's all it is with me. Okay, I don't support fake fighters. I support real fighters. I support people who let their actions do the talking and do their talking in the ring and take tough fights and don't duck and just conduct themselves with honor. Okay, so I hope that answers any doubts people had about me and my content. Yeah, stop supporting fake boxers. Stop supporting part-time boxers, guys who like Tyson Fury, who retire for 2 years, come back, fight a couple of bums, and then just fight like a bitch and run away and hold. Stop supporting that, man. I'm out. This video's gone on way too long. I never intended it to be this long. So yeah, let me know what you guys think, and thanks for watching, and God bless.